Next on BGSU Brain Game quarterfinal round, it is St. John's versus Pandora-Gilboa. I think we better get ready for a tactical tussle of the temporal lobes. Only one team can leave victorious. Who's it going to be? Only one way to find out. BGSU's Brain Game starts right now. And welcome to BGSU Brain Game quarterfinal round. It is St. John's versus Pandora-Gilboa. Let's meet our teams. For St. John's, led by Coach Tittle, in slot number 1, we have Josh, a senior. In slot number 2, James, a senior. And in slot number 3, another Josh, and Josh is also a senior. Now for Pandora-Gilboa, led by Coach Recker. In slot number 1, we have Ethan, a junior. In slot number 2, it is Holiday, a junior. And in slot number 3, the senior is Jacob. Welcome to both Pandora-Gilboa and to St. John's. We're gonna start things off as we always do, toss-up round. In this round, there are 10 questions. They are worth 10 points. Negative deduction for an incorrect answer, so have a little bit of fun in this round, I always like to say. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can steal a question in this round. Pandora-Gilboa, St. John's, you at home. The toss-up round starts right now. Name the Swedish botanist widely regarded. That would be St. John's. Josh?
Linnaeus.
Linnaeus is correct. Mostly found in California, southern Oregon, and the Baja Peninsula, this landform is composed of heavy brush and shrub cover in temperate zones. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob?
Scrubland.
Incorrect. Temperate zones and mid-latitudes identify this term that begins with the letters CH. That would be St. John's. James?
Charal.
Can't accept that. Chaparral is what we needed. Chaparral. A former warlock imprisoned in the form of a black cat as punishment for attempting to take over the world. He lives with a young witch and her 2 aunts. In time? Not in time. Salem Saberhagen from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What does PDF stand for? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday?
Oh no. Nope.
Time. St. John's, chance to steal. James?
Personal digital file.
Incorrect. Portable document format. Sound waves strike a glass and cause it to shatter. This phenomenon illustrates what? In time? In time. Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday?
Is that resonance?
That is resonance, correct. Characteristic of a mineral, often described as metallic, glassy. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob?
Luster.
Luster is correct. During prophase, the chromosomes condense and form an X shape. What are the 2 sides of the X? That would be St. John's. James?
Chromatids.
More specific, please.
Sister chromatids.
That is correct. Name the 3 distinct social classes into which people are divided in medieval. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Ethan?
Peasant, lord, and king.
We would accept that. Monarchy, nobility, and peasants. A box holds 6 cans. How many cans fit in 5 boxes? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob?
30.
30 is correct. This crescent-shaped nut from South America isn't, that would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob?
Macadamia nut.
Incorrect. Isn't technically a nut, but the seed that grows at the bottom of a fruit. St. John's, chance to steal. That would be Josh.
Cashew.
Cashew is correct. And that is the end of the round. Let's take a look at our score. We have St. John's at 30, Pandora-Gilboa at 40 points. We're just getting warmed up here at Brain Game. Stick around. The risk and reward round is coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. St. John's 30 points, Pandora-Gilboa 40 points. Both of our teams have elected to stay with their lineup from the last round, so we are going right into our risk and reward round. There will be 3 topics to choose from. St. John, since you're at 30 points, you will get to make the first selection. You will own all of the questions in that topic. First 9 or 10 points apiece. No deduction for an incorrect answer. The 10th question is the risk and reward question. You may risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments on the topic that you choose. You get it right, you get the points. You get it wrong or a non-answer, you lose the points. However, if you don't like the way the round has gone, you can simply pass. Pandora-Gilboa, the same rules apply to you, but you only get to select from the final 2 topics. So what are those topics? That's what everyone wants to know, so let's find out. Here are our 3 topics for this game. Topic number 1 is astronomy. Topic number 2 is American artists. And topic number 3 is sports. St. John's, you get to make the first selection.
Do you think you know?
I think, James, I feel like astronomy, we could all,
I don't know.
I think so.
I think we
astronomy. Yeah. We would like to go for astronomy.
They are going for astronomy. Again, just a reminder, first 9 questions will be 10 points apiece. No deduction for an incorrect answer. And the 10th question will be your risk and reward question. Here we go, astronomy. With the exception of Ceres, in which belt beyond Neptune's orbit are the 4 other recognized dwarf planets located? That would be St. John's. Josh?
The Kuiper Belt.
Kuiper Belt is correct. In which constellation was Neptune discovered in 1846? It's also the 11th sign of the zodiac. That would be Josh.
Scorpio.
Incorrect. Aquarius. In the early 1500s, a Polish astronomer began trying to prove his heliocentric theory, stating that the sun, rather than the Earth, was the center of the solar system. Who was he? That would be Josh.
Copernicus.
Copernicus is correct. What is the term for the point in the moon's orbit when it's closest to the Earth? That would be Josh.
Periapsis.
We can accept that, yes. Which planet in the Milky Way is the only one not named for a deity? It's also the densest of the planets. That would be Josh.
Earth.
Earth is correct. Which planet is estimated to contain roughly 70% of all the material in the solar system, excluding the sun? That would be Josh.
Jupiter.
Jupiter is correct. If a planet is circumbinary, what does that mean? Josh.
It's between 2 stars that it orbits.
Accept that, yes. What are the reddish astronomical objects that are not quite massive enough to be true stars and can't achieve stable luminosity? That would be Josh.
Brown dwarfs.
Brown dwarfs is correct. Black holes are thought to power what distant objects named for their star-like appearance? That would be Josh.
Quasars.
Quasars is correct. Risk and reward time. You have chosen astronomy. You can risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments. What says St. John's?
We would like to go all in.
All in for 30 points. What is the point in an orbit of a planet, asteroid, or comet at which it is furthest from the sun? That would be Josh.
Apoapsis.
We cannot accept that. Aphelion is what we needed there. Negative 30 points for St. John's. Now we move over to Pandora-Gilboa. You can choose between American artists and sports.
American artists, please.
American artists for Pandora-Gilboa. Here we go. This folk artist has been described as an authentic primitive, someone whose talent developed in isolation from contemporary artistic trends. That would be Holiday.
Is it Grandma Moses?
That is Grandma Moses, correct. This American painter associated with the Impressionists often depicted mothers and children in her work. That would be Holiday.
Mary Cassatt.
Correct. Known for her large-scale close-up paintings of flowers and desert landscapes, which American painter is often called the mother of American modernism? That would be Holiday.
O'Keeffe.
O'Keeffe is correct. He was known for his paintings of Campbell's soup cans. That would be Holiday.
Warhol.
Warhol is correct. Artist who painted Nighthawks, a depiction of lonely people sitting in a downtown diner late at night. That would be Holiday.
Hopper.
Hopper is correct. Among this painter's works were many cover illustrations for the Saturday Evening Post, depicting an idealized vision of American life. Holiday.
Norman Rockwell.
Norman Rockwell is correct. Known as the painter of presidents, this Rhode Islander created over 1,000 portraits in his lifetime, including 6 presidential sittings. Who is this prolific artist with the initials GS?
Think of him, but not his name.
Time. Gilbert Stewart is what we needed there. This American artist and master of watercolors is well known for his seascapes. Name this painter whose works include cloud shadows and sunlight on the coast. That would be Holiday.
Is that Winslow Homer?
That is Winslow Homer, correct. A painter of large canvases, this American artist developed his unique style and created his drip-style paintings between 1947 and 1950. That would be Holiday.
Jackson Pollock.
Jackson Pollock, correct. Risk and reward time. The topic you have chosen is American artists. You can risk up to 30 points in 5-point increments, or you can pass. What says Pandora-Gilboa?
I think 20.
20 points. American artist, risk and reward, Pandora-Gilboa. As a child, this American artist was intrigued with horses. Who was this painter, sculptor, and illustrator whose paintings featured the American West and action-styled sculptures depicting cowboys and Native Americans?
Confirm both. No, sure, go ahead.
Ethan, in time? In time.
Liechtenstein?
Say again?
Liechtenstein?
Incorrect. Frederick Remington is what we needed there. Negative 20 points for you. Let's take a look at our score. St. John's at 80. Pandora-Gilboa currently in the lead with 100. Stick around, the category round coming up next. Stay tuned. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. We did have a scoring correction at the end of that last round. We now stand at Pandora-Gilboa at 100 and St. John's at 140 points. Both teams have elected to stay with their lineup from the last round, so we're moving directly on to the category round. Now, in this round, this is where the power shifts a little bit to our teams. There are 6 categories to choose from. Questions worth 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 points. But red alert, shields up, that's right. Deductions start now. You may confer before buzzing in, and you can steal a question in this round. And speaking of questions, there is one double or nothing hiding in there. Double the points, no risk on that one. Double the points, no deduction for an incorrect answer. All right, Pandora-Gilboa, you are at 100 points. That means you get to make the first selection.
In the kitchen, 25, please.
In the kitchen for 25 points. I'll provide a clue relating to something that can be found in a kitchen. You identify that item. Chicken cooked on a rotating spit. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
Rotisserie?
Rotisserie is correct. Pandora-Gilboa takes control.
Kitchen, 30.
Kitchen for 30 points. Finish this phrase. Too many cooks spoil. That would be Jacob. Pandora-Gilboa.
The pot?
Incorrect. Spoil the blank. St. John's, chance to steal.
Just wait. There could be so many things.
Time. The broth. Spoils the broth. Pandora-Gilboa still in control.
Ancient history for 30.
Ancient history for 30 points. I will give you a clue related to ancient history. You provide the answer. Which Persian king led a failed invasion of Greece? That would be St. John's. Josh.
Xerxes.
Xerxes is correct. St. John's takes control.
History for 25, please.
Ancient history for 25. What is the term for the shift from hunting and gathering to farm? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
The Neolithic Revolution.
Correct. Pandora-Gilboa takes control.
Let's go capitals 30.
Capitals for 30 points. I will name a country. You provide its capital. North Korea. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Pyongyang.
Correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Capitals 25.
Capitals for 25 points. Venezuela. That would be St. John's. Josh.
Oops. My bad, guys.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Caracas.
Correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control and in the lead.
Capitals 20.
Capitals now for 20 points. Morocco. That would be Holiday. Pandora-Gilboa.
Rabat.
Rabat is correct. Pandora-Gilboa still in control.
History 20.
History for 20 points. This is the double or nothing question. What was the Roman arena for chariot? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Ethan.
Circus Maximus.
Correct. Double the points and Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Environment for 25.
Environment for 25 points. I will provide a clue or question about the environment. You provide the answer. What is eutrophication? Time. Excess nutrients in the water. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Let's go lit 25.
Literature for 25 points. I will ask a question on the topic of literature. You provide the answer. Jane Austen's novels were written in this English era. St. John's. Josh.
Romanticism.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, chance to steal. Time. The Regency or Georgian. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Lit 30.
Lit for 30 points. What literary movement from 1945 to the present is characterized by metafiction, irony, and St. John's? Josh.
Modernism.
Incorrect. Pandora-Gilboa, chance to steal. That would be Holiday.
Postmodernism.
Postmodernism, correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Let's go lit 20.
Lit for 20. Which literary period spanned roughly from 1485 to 1660 and that was St. John's? Josh.
The Renaissance.
The Renaissance is correct. St. John's takes control.
Math for 30.
Miscellaneous math for 30 points. Please provide the answer to the math-related question. A data set has a mean of 12 and contains 6 numbers. What is the sum of that would be St. John's? Josh.
72.
72 is correct. St. John's in control.
Math 25.
Math for 25. The ratio of cats to birds in a pet store is 7-3. If there are 35 cats, how many? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
15.
15 birds is correct. Pandora-Gilboa takes control.
In the kitchen 20.
In the kitchen for 20 points. This nut is really a beige, bell-shaped winter squash. Often that would be St. John's. Josh.
The peanut.
Incorrect. Used to make creamy fall. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Butternut squash.
Correct. Butternut squash. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Let's go capitals 15.
Capitals for 15 points. Switzerland. Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Burn.
Burn is correct. Pandora-Gilboa in control.
Yeah, history 15.
History now for 15 points. What is the name of the first known written law code? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Jacob.
The Code of Ur-Nammu.
Say again.
Code of Ur-Nammu, and you're going to say Hammurabi.
Incorrect. St. John's, chance to steal. Josh.
Hammurabi's code.
Hammurabi code, correct. St. John's in control.
Environment for 30.
Environment for 30 points. What is the albedo effect? That would be St. John's. Josh.
It's when like light from the sun is reflected back into space by like ice and other bright surfaces. like
Correct.
deserts. Okay.
St. John's in control.
Math 20.
Math 20. If the equation V equals IR, or excuse me, in the equation V equals IR, what does the V stand for? That will be Pandora-Gilboa. Ethan.
Voltage.
Voltage is correct. Pandora-Gilboa takes control.
Kitchen 15.
Kitchen for 15 points. This verb means to apply a thin, transparent layer of coating. St. John's, James.
Glaze.
Glaze is correct. St. John's in control.
Environment 20.
Environment now for 20 points. What is greenwashing? In time? No, that is misleading environmental claims. Let's take a look at our score. St. John's 180. Currently in the lead with 330 is Pandora-Gilboa. Stick around. The brainstorm round is coming up next. And welcome back to BGSU Brain Game. St. John's 180, Pandora-Gilboa at 330 points. Again, both of our teams have elected to stay with their lineup from the last round, so we're moving immediately to the brainstorm round. In this round, all questions are worth 20 points, negative 20 points for an incorrect answer. You may confer before buzzing in, but you cannot, I repeat, you cannot steal a question in this round. Pandora-Gilboa, St. John's, you at home, the brainstorm round starts right now. What letter is between the U and the O keys on the US keyboard? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Ethan.
I.
I is correct. To create a hole or passageway with a drill. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Bore.
Bore is correct. Name one of the only two crimes mentioned in the Constitution. That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Ethan.
Bribery.
Bribery or treason, correct. What scale measures the hardness? That would be Pandora-Gilboa. Ethan.
Yeah, no.
Time, Mohs hardness scale. Which company, founded in 1903 in Detroit, introduced, that will be St. John's. Josh.
Ford Motor Company.
Ford is correct. A raised surface on which an Indian temple is placed. Time, a jagati is what we needed there. State whose motto is the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. Time, that would be Hawaii. Northernmost point of the United States. St. John's, Josh.
Is it Barrow, Alaska?
Correct.
Nice.
Who played the part of Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride? Folks at home and the audience know Mandy Patinkin. This general's cavalry pursued General Lee at Appomattox, leading, that would be St. John's. Josh.
Grant.
Incorrect. That would be Sheridan's cavalry. What is the American English equivalent of the British word chuffed? That will be St. John's. Josh.
Slightly annoyed.
Incorrect. Happy, pleased, or thrilled. Knitted headgear covering the entire face, that would be Pandora-Gilboa. Holiday.
Balaclava.
Correct, or a ski mask. Jewish prayer recited for the dead. Time, that would be the mourner's Kaddish. Which U.S. president was the first to be born in the 19th century? Time. Millard Fillmore, he was born in January 7th, 1800. This is the largest bird in North America. End of round, not time. Let's take a look at our score. St. John's 180, and our winner with 390 is Pandora-Gilboa. Let's give both these teams a big round of applause. In the spirit of good sportsmanship, let's come around, meet in the middle, shake some hands, bump some fists, and we will see you at the next BGSU Brain Game.